make us do a case ratio for the caseworkers and the cases for DCS, what we're finding is that there's a 35%, about a 35% turnover rate. And that's because there's older people in caseworking going out, there's younger people going in. We don't know what the numbers are, how many cases people are being, are taking on, how many they're finishing, how many are slipping through the cracks because of the way they did the system. A couple of years ago, we had a special piece of legislation that did a program for caseworkers where they would go through a series of classes for a series of days, and they have mentors. I went to a couple of those graduations and spoke, but I don't think that that's happening any longer. So we need to know what's happening on the front lines with our kids and what the caseworkers are doing, because too many children are dying, missing, and it's just a shame. That's our future. Babies are our future. We need to know what's going on.
The next one is Representative Gail Riecken, who's been a champion for transparency and getting the phones answered, if you will. Representative Riecken.
It was difficult this last week to be in the chamber, and it's probably the first time I've ever been denied the opportunity to speak. I think when we have something to say, it's not as if we just want to stand up there and talk. We've got something to say. And when Leader Bauer got up and spoke about his concerns very emotionally about this issue, I wanted to back up after the Chairman Noe had gotten up and said that yes, we had gone to the hotline center, the call center, to just review the status, to understand the process better. And to be denied that right, number one, for any legislator not to be able to talk about an issue is very concerning to me. And also, Representative Bartlett had been denied too. This happened again yesterday in the committee. We had amendments that would ask for more information on the hotline. I had an amendment that would start that process, and Representative Day has an absolutely outstanding amendment that was going to interject a study committee where we could really look at all the aspects of DCS, not just the hotline. Both of those were denied the opportunity for presentation, not a vote, not even the opportunity to talk about it in committee. And Representative Noe and I have had discussions about what are the role of committee members and what is the role of the committee. That's the opportunity to talk about these things. We have a serious concern. We don't know if the problem is just the hotline. We don't know if the problem is the training of the workers, the time that the workers stay on the phone. It's an average of 11 minutes. The information that gets down to our local offices, what happens then. We have got to get a better understanding of what the problems are so that we can protect children. If we can't protect the children of the state, then what can we do as legislators? Very, very much concerned.
Thank you. Next is Representative Bartlett, who was the first to show these pictures on the floor. By the way, these are pictures of kids from all over the state that have died. We have to stop before another child dies. We have to have our Republican colleagues and the governor to answer this call. Representative Bartlett.
Good morning. Let me say this. First off, I think this is a sad day in the great state of Indiana when we are not protecting our children. That's our job. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, male, female, black, white. It's our job as legislators to protect our children. As I understand the committee process, that's where we discuss the bills. That's where we discuss, all committees are set up bipartisan so that you can have both sides of an issue and discuss that. I believe this: if we're not going to take care of our children, the taxpayers should demand that we go home. This is not something, I was very passionate about right to work. I was very passionate about saving taxpayers' dollars, and as I still am, but nothing is as important as our children dying across this great state. I'm talking Columbia City, Michigan City, Greensburg, South Bend, Crown Point, Alston, Franklin, Gary, Indianapolis, you name it, Evansville. It's all across the state. And what we're so taunting is the fact that we saved money, but we're losing lives. The people, the taxpayers of the great state of Indiana deserve better than this. Our children deserve better than this. And I asked for an organizational chart for DCS to see what the makeup of the decision makers was. And I can't get that. I asked for it last week and I asked for it again yesterday in committee. As I understand the legislative process, the committee hearings is so that you can vet these ideas. And they completely shut us out. They will not allow the Democrat representatives to even present their amendments. I'm going to present two amendments on the floor. The first amendment I'm going to present on the floor in the second reading is that Child Protective Services go to county, back to county level, so that each county can take care of their own instead of everything being centralized here in Indiana. The second piece, in Indianapolis, I'm sorry. And the second piece is, I want the 92 county sheriffs to be the oversight and do the investigative work rather than have some newbie going out trying to investigate about our children. The sheriffs are trained investigators, so let them investigate. If that amendment is denied, and I suspect it will be denied 40 to 60, because everything has been very bipartisan this year. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to offer an amendment that if they keep it under the state, then Child Protective Services report to the state police and let the state police do the investigative work. We have got to stop our children from dying across the great state of Indiana. Thank you.
Any questions?
A lot of yesterday's meeting, just on the north side, the legislation that would require us to have CLI certificates here.
Well, that's certainly a tragedy, and again, that's where we need Child Protective Services to be able to investigate, follow up an investigation, give a report. I mean, first answer the phone, answer the call, go there, do it, and not be prevented from doing it, and see how that goes. And then, yes, there may be a cause for more legislation, but we do have legislation, and we have appropriated the money to protect these children, and it's not being done. That is the point.
She would prefer to do everything informally, and has described it that way to me, and has described it in the committee. And when she did that, there were a couple of committee members that said they would like to work with me. And my concern is, unless you do things formally, folks in the locals, from the top on down, aren't protected. And it's very important that they have that freedom, that flexibility to talk with us. I did ask Judge Payne in the committee if he would support our discussions all the way down to the local level. He said he would, but if it's not done formally, I don't think we have the kind of protection that those folks need. And we need everybody involved.
And that is no excuse for cutting
That's
off
correct.
amendments. That is
There's
no
no excuse.
excuse for spending $300 million that the governor and her party did in protecting these children. That is no excuse. And I'm answering those phone calls. There is nothing informal or formal about it. It's neglect of duty and tragedy.
And I tell you, when we are only interested in the informal part of it, then I worry about what are we so afraid of? What are we so afraid of? It concerns me.
What's informal about a child dying? Tell me, what is informal about that? The funerals are not informal. The loved ones of those children is not informal. My concern is not informal. We were sent here to take care of the business of the great state of Indiana. And I will say, if we're not going to do that, the taxpayers should demand that we all go home. They talk about transparency.